At the ACLJ, we are committed to defending life, and that includes the life of the unborn. There was a very important victory, 2 in a row actually, out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals against the #1 abortion provider in the United States, the #1 abortion provider in the world, Planned Parenthood. And as you know, if you're someone familiar with our court system, the Ninth Circuit has not usually been a place very friendly for those who have a pro-life position. Usually we see cases coming out of the Ninth Circuit and we think, ultimately we're going to have to try and appeal this to the U.S. Supreme Court. But because of recent judicial nominations, the Ninth Circuit is becoming less friendly to those on the far left. The Trump administration's Department of Health and Human Services issued a new rule on Title X funding. Title X goes to family planning funding. And under that rule, which Congress authorized already, they could stop funding, so using our taxpayer dollars, organizations and clinics that promote or perform abortions. That means an organization like Planned Parenthood doesn't automatically get the funding and actually can automatically be denied the funding because of the fact that they do promote and provide abortions. Well, Planned Parenthood didn't like it when the Trump administration actually took that congressional law and implemented it through an HHS rule. So they challenged it in federal court, and they took it to the Ninth Circuit, which they thought would be friendly. Now they lost right away at the Court of Appeals level at the Ninth Circuit on a 3-judge panel. So they thought, well, let's appeal it en banc. Let's go to the full panel of the Ninth Circuit. Guess what? They lost again 7-4. Planned Parenthood could decide to try and take this to the Supreme Court, but they had a more friendly court in the Ninth Circuit than they will face at the U.S. Supreme Court. That is a significant victory for life. It is a loss of $60 million a year to Planned Parenthood. That means $60 million less of your taxpayer dollars going to fund the nation's abortion giant. But these fights don't end there. We represent a nurse right now, Cynthia Isabel, who was applying for a teaching position at Indiana University South Bend. And she was denied that position because of her pro-life position. You know what she was applying for? A maternity teaching position and a classroom position where she'd be teaching nursing students. Nothing to do with ever performing an abortion, but yet she was denied. Well, the ACLJ represents Cynthia Isabel. So not only do we fight for the life of the unborn, we also fight for the freedoms of those who hold pro-life positions so they're not excluded from public life or work positions where they're well qualified. If you want to take action on this, you can go to aclj.org. We have a petition that says very clearly, stop doctors and nurses from being forced to perform abortions. Don't make that a job requirement. Whether it is the funding of $60 million, whether it is the fights for all the different life issues happening across the states right now that we're involved in as well, and whether it's pro-life speech, keeping you from a job position you're otherwise qualified for. We're fighting at the ACLJ, but we're always ready for what's next from the abortion industry.